Section 13 of Little Masterpieces of American Wit and Humor, Volume 2. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Scott Bennett. Little Masterpieces of American Wit and Humor, Volume 2, edited by Thomas Lansing Masson. Section 13. A Letter from Mr. Ezekiel Bigelow by James Russell Lowell. Thrash away, you'll have to rattle on them kittle drums o' yourn. 'Tain't a knowin' kind o' cattle that is ketched with mouldy corn. Put in stiff, you fifer feller, let folks see how spry you be. Guess you'll toot till you are yeller, 'fore you get a hold o' me. That 'ere flag's a leetle rotten. Hope it ain't your Sunday's best. Fact, it takes a sight of cotton to stuff out a soldier's chest. Since we farmers have to pay fer it, if you must wear humps like these, s'posen you should try salt hay fer it. It would do as slick as grease. 'Twouldn't suit them southern fellers, they're a dreffle graspin' set. We must allers blow the bellers when they want their irons het. Maybe it's all right as preachin', but my narves it kind of grates when I see the overreachin' of them nigger-drivin' states. Them that rule us, them slave traders, hain't they cut a thunderin' swath, helped by Yankee renegaders through the vartu of the North? We begin to think it's natur' to take sarce and not be riled. Who'd expect to see a tater all on end at bein' biled? As for war, I call it murder. There you have it, plain and flat. I don't want to go no furder than my testament for that. God has said so plump and fairly, it's as long as it is broad, and you got to get up early if you want to take in God. 'Tain't your epaulets and feathers make the thing a grain more right. 'Tain't a follerin' your bellwethers will excuse ye in his sight. If you take a sword and draw it, and go stick a feller through, government ain't to answer for it. God'll send the bill to you. What's the use of meetin' goin' every Sabbath, wet or dry, ef it's right to go a mowin' feller men like oats and rye? I dunno but what it's putted trainin' round in bobtail coats, but it's cur'ous Christian duty this 'ere cuttin' folks' throats. They may talk of freedoms airy till they're purple in the face. It's a grand, great cemetery for the birthrights of our race. They jest want this Californy so's to lug new slave states in, to abuse ye and to scorn ye and to plunder ye like sin. Ain't it cute to see a Yankee take such everlasting pains, all to git the devil's thanky helpin' on 'em weld their chains? Why, it's jest as clear as figures, clear as 1 and 1 make 2. Chaps that make black slaves of niggers want to make white slaves of you. Tell you jest the end I've come to, arter cipher'n plaguey smart, and it makes a handy sum, too, any gump could learn by heart. Laborin' man and laborin' woman have one glory and one shame. Everything that's done in human injures all on 'em the same. 'Tain't by turnin' out to hack folks you're a-goin' to get your rights, nor by lookin' down on black folks 'cause you're put upon by white. Slavery ain't o' nary color. 'Tain't the hide that makes it wuss. All it keers fer is a feller's just to make him fill his purse. Want to tackle me in, do ye? I expect you'll have to wait. When cold lead puts daylight through you, you'll begin to cal'late. S'pose the crows won't fall to pickin' all the carcass from your bones, 'cause you helped to give a lickin' to them poor half-Spanish drones? Jest go home and ask our Nancy whether I'd be sech a goose as to jine ye. Guess you'd fancy the eternal bung was loose. She wants me for home consumption, let alone the hays to mow. Ef you're arter folks o' gumption, you've a darn long row to hoe. Take them editors that's crowin' like a cockerel 3 months old. Don't catch any on 'em goin', though they be so blasted bold. Ain't they a prime lot of fellers? 'Fore they think on't, they will sprout like a peach that's got the yellers, with the meanness bustin' out. Well, go 'long to help 'em stealin' bigger pens to cram with slaves. Help the men that's allers dealin' insults on your fathers' graves. Help the strong to grind the feeble. Help the many agin the few. Help the men that call your people whitewashed slaves and peddlin' crew. Massachusetts, God forgive her, she's a kneelin' with the rest. She that ought to 'a' clung forever in a grand old eagle nest. She that ought to stand so fearless while the racks around her hurled, holding up a beacon peerless to the oppressed of all the world. Hain't they sold your colored seamen? Hain't they made your envies whiz? What'll make ye act like freemen? What'll get your dander riz? Come, I'll tell you what I'm thinking, is our duty in this fix. They'd have done it as quick as winking in the days of '76. Clang the bells in every steeple. Call all true men to disown the traducers of our people, the enslavers of their own. Let our dear old Bay State proudly put the trumpet to her mouth. Let her ring this message loudly in the ears of all the South. I'll return ye good for evil, much as we frail mortals can, but I won't go help the devil making man the cuss of man. Call me coward, call me traitor, just as suits your mean idees. Here I stand, a tyrant hater, and the friend of God and peace. If I'd my way, I had ruther we should go to work and part. They take one way, we take t'other. Guess it wouldn't break my heart. Man had ought to put asunder them that God has no ways jined, and I shouldn't greatly wonder if there's thousands on my mind. Bigelow Papers. End of section 13.